Welcome, everyone. This is our second virtual South Summit. And today it's super exciting because we're touching upon a subject that is going to be very near to all of us that are spending time in quarantine or lockdown or just spending time at home. And that's connectivity and data. We have an amazing lineup of startups, best in class. As we've seen from the last week, the quality has never been better. And then we have a really amazing group of jurors from all over the world that have connected live here today to watch these startups. So let's get going. We're going to start join me in welcoming the body and soul of South Summit, Maria Benjumea. Maria, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, Paris. How are you?
I'm good, Maria. How about you?
Oh, great. I want to welcome everybody to Madrid, to Spain. I want to welcome and say many thanks to the jury and hello and welcome to everywhere from everywhere.
Maria, what do you think? I mean, last week I heard over 2,000 people were watching the event live. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, did you expect this?
Well, we have launched this together, i.e. with the Spain Startup South Summit, and this is the virtual South Summit. And we are really, I think we have to be very happy, all of us, because it is like that, it's true. Last Thursday, it was our first virtual South Summit, and we had more together, joining live more than 2,000. So I think that we have to be very happy. And I think that the opportunities that we have in this new channel, well, it's not new. We know it very well, but now we all use it.
Okay. Now, Maria, a lot of people, I remember when I was sick, and you know that I'm a survivor of COVID-19, but when I was sick, a lot of my friends from all over the world, they would be like, oh my God, you're in Spain, and Spain is going through such a hard time. But there are a lot of things that Spain has done amazingly well during this whole crisis. And in particular, I think we were talking about that is, infrastructure, connectivity. What do you think about that?
I think the same that you. I think that, we have chosen just the key themes, and I think that one of it, the first one was health and well-being, because we have to think about our life, not only our health, our whole life. But the second one, because in this moment is absolutely key, is connectivity and data. And as you say, nobody could think about that in Spain, connectivity and the infrastructures and connectivity is one of our key issues. So I think that we all have to be so happy that we are in very, very different parts of the world, in the different regions, and we are all connected. And not only connected, we are connecting for networking and for making business. That's the best. One thing I would like to say just since the beginning, we are all connecting. We are going to, we have the pleasure to listen to Eric from Ericsson and to Paul afterwards from Amazon, and to the startups and to our jury. But besides, for next time, we are going to be able to connect everybody that is listening to us, that we are just to have the opportunity, all of us, to be connected live, and besides, we can have our meetings, virtual meetings. So that's great. We couldn't think about that. And I think that in Spain is something that we are doing very well.
Okay, great, Maria. So you've told us, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that next time we come, we're going to have a new functionality that's going to allow people to meet virtually in meetings. What else do you want to tell us about a surprise that you've got for us for next week?
Well, next week, we will have our challenge in mobility and logistics, that I think that's another absolutely key theme of this crisis. So now is when we are launching this connectivity for everywhere, everybody that we are working together in this. And I think that the best for all the jury, for all the investors, for all the corporates that are looking for innovation through startups, because everyone needs new products, new services. And now more than ever, we need to develop our businesses, we have to be connected all, because here we have 8 great startups finalists in connectivity and data. But I'm sure that many others are just watching us, are sharing things with us. So what we need is to have the possibility to making business with everyone.
All right. Thank you, Maria. We'll be hearing more from you later, I'm sure. Okay, Juanjo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Juanjo, talk to me a little bit about you're chairman of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. What's happening to the startup ecosystem during this COVID-19 time?
Well, you can see what happens with the Venture Lab, our accelerator, our startup accelerator. We have more projects than ever. So it seems that the first people in quarantine are becoming more innovative, or they have more time to develop their ideas and to transform it into projects. And as an investor, I get more deals than ever. Maybe it is that I'm connected and I'm checking my LinkedIn, checking my email, and I have maybe some more time to take care about these projects. But I think that entrepreneurship and innovation is booming, and it's something that one can expect, because whenever you have big problems and big challenges, and it is very clear to me that we have bigger problems and bigger challenges than just a few weeks ago, you may find really good business opportunities. Difficult and challenges are always a call for innovation.
All right. Thank you, Juan Jose. All right. We're ready to get started here. So like I said earlier, we have an amazing lineup, and what a honor to have our next speaker. The next speaker, his name is Erik Ekuden, Senior Vice President and CTO of the Ericsson Group. Now, what's interesting about Erik is that one of his teams, when he was in development at Ericsson, one of his teams is responsible for a lot of the technology that has to do with media in smartphones today. So join me in welcoming Erik Ekuden. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you. And thanks to the whole team. Hello, everyone in South Summit. The format is a new normal for all of us working from home. And in my case, that's from Sweden. Did you all know that what we have ahead of us with 5G, we are creating the biggest innovation platform ever? Some would probably say that the most talked about tech companies and media companies today, they are the ones controlling the most important platforms. But the truth is really that these media and tech giants are dependent on 4G and soon 5G as their innovation platform. In fact, their total business relies on it. But it's not only these internet companies that depend on reliable mobile networks. Mobile networks as such are actually the fastest scaling technology ever. And with that, mobile technology reaches into every corner of our economy, societies, and of course, private lives as we are living through it right now. I'm sure many of you are connecting over a mobile connection now, LTE or some other technology. And it's one of the greatest drivers of economic growth and human equality the world has ever seen. You can say that for a number of generations, now we're up to generation 5. This industry has been built largely on private investment, private capital, and it has enabled communication not only between people across borders, but also all kinds of devices. And now, of course, we're in the middle of the era of Internet of Things, going towards Internet of Senses in a few years' time. But it provides a predictable and reliable communication. I think Maria was into that in the beginning as well. But with 5G, we are moving these technological boundaries forward, and we are creating the biggest innovation platform ever. New services for consumers, I think we all take that for granted. We're going to move closer to mixed reality, AR, VR, and so forth. But it's really in the enterprise space where we see that we are opening up a complete new field. Of course, with digitalization and AI on top, but this is really where industries are creating, being disrupted in some cases, but are creating new business opportunities across all sectors. And we are well underway to create this biggest innovation platform ever. At Ericsson, we are currently supporting 31 5G live networks around the world across 4 geographies, 4 continents. Actually, we were the first with commercial live networks in all these 4 regions, including in Europe. By that, we are the global leader in 5G. And 2020 is the turning point, because now we are moving past those first 30, 40 million subscribers in the early markets into something that will evolve into a mass market, commercially available at much greater scale. And according to our predictions, we will have 5G coverage in just less than 5 years' time of 45% of the world's population, which is an amazing rollout speed when it comes to a new technology around the world. Already by the end of this year, we expect to have more than 150 million subscribers on 5G, and in less than 5 years, those will turn into 2 billion subscribers globally. So it's a phenomenal scaling technology. It's a phenomenal platform for innovation. I think you all know about some examples in Europe. We have US very much in the lead, Korea, China, and many other countries following suit here. But what is making it a unique innovation platform is really that it's a foundation built on openness, built on trust and security from the network layer. And all the best part of it is that you don't have to wait for it, because there is a smooth transition from 4G into 5G. 4G is already here today, and 5G is already here from a technology point of view, smooth upgrade of networks. And it's actually my hope that an even greater number of innovators will leverage 4G and soon 5G in the coming weeks and months to collaborate and create the solutions that we really need to solve the current crisis. I think that goes without saying. Mobile technology is a big piece of that. Technology in general, and mobile technology in particular, is a big piece of that going forward. Ultimately, that will help us build a better and more sustainable society and economy for the long term. But we can really start with those exploratory efforts in the middle of the crisis that we're living through right now. 4G LTE, it was a workhorse and the innovation platform for countless consumer smartphone services. And the 5G platform can deliver better user experience and higher efficiency, as I said, both for consumers and these demanding enterprises. So I think we have a great future from that perspective to look forward to. It is clear that when 4G was opening up for disruption and for new applications, new businesses, it didn't happen in a uniform way. In fact, it started in US, you could say, with the app ecosystem. China also very strong, very much built on that infrastructure, availability of 4G LTE to build from. And we're expecting the same kind, unfortunately, of uneven distribution also of 5G. So for innovators, for companies, for society at large, it's important to really be early on this wave, to leverage a new technology faster than others, because it will have a dramatic effect across all sectors, from early transport and manufacturing, which are the key areas right now, into healthcare, of course, energy, and much, much more. So I'm also hoping that as you look around, that you see that those opportunities are really there to leverage a network platform. What we also see when it comes to 5G is that industries that have been very focused on their local networks, what they do with fixed networks on premise, they are now looking for more of a cloud way to consume services. So instead of only using applications and services that are hosted on public clouds, they start to look for network services to be provided in the same simple way. You sign up on a web page and you're offered virtual services, network services, just as if they were cloud resources. And that's a big change when we move into 5G. New technology will allow those virtual networks to ride on one and common shared infrastructure underneath. That will allow you to have a resource reservation and, of course, pay for what you use. It will also allow to have much better control for the demanding applications. And I'm seeing that 4G reverberated across the consumer markets and in some industry verticals. Now with 5G, we will see this horizontal, more like an earthquake across all sectors. And of course, opportunities, but also some disruption coming with that across enterprises in the world. Back a little bit to the situation we're living through now, unprecedented and very stressful times, very clear. But in extraordinary times like this, it's important to remember that the value of connectivity and mobile connectivity in particular to society is so apparent to everyone. We see traffic jump in all networks, fixed networks and mobile networks. Of course, distribution patterns changes as you might expect. People use more communication from their homes, not as much out and about. But in general, we see an increase because of usage and, of course, more uplink traffic, as we call it, because of these kind of video sessions that we're in right now. So network quality, reliability, and coverage, those aspects really become critically important going forward. And we actually see that companies need to invest even more in network infrastructure because it's becoming so obvious that you have to rely on it, even in terms of crisis. Also, when it comes to recovery after the crisis that we're living through right now, I predict that 5G will play a key role in the recovery phase. And we have made investments in physical infrastructure in previous crises. And in this era, we will direct some of those investments towards infrastructure, digital infrastructure, mobile networks, 4G and 5G, which I think is a good sign for all of us, or a good thing that will happen. Let's take another example then from the ongoing situation, 5G in the light of healthcare. We've seen bottlenecks, and I think some of those are really being addressed as we speak. But if you allow yourself to think a little bit further out, many people see telemedicine as something that will really be important going forward. The ability to diagnose and monitor these non-hospitalized patients remotely instead of through physical visits, clearly important, both to get fast access, but also to limit spread of virus itself. And also keeping everyone safe, from the medical professionals as well as other hospitalized patients. This is perhaps obvious now as we live it through, but so much needs to be put in place to have that ready when the next situation hits us. That, of course, comes back to the fact that the infrastructure is more and more the backbone, the critical infrastructure for society at large, not only for what we've come to see as our smartphones and the app economy. Just think of what multi-sensory communication combining with augmented video, spatial audio, haptic and tactile feedback will do for the telemedicine of tomorrow. I think that's something we can all believe in and work on for the future. We're not quite there yet, so I have to also raise a warning here that this also comes with regulation from governments that urge investments or that promotes investments. Regulatory clarity is also good to be able to develop services in the enterprise space, so this is really important. And this industry-wide platform that we're putting together with 5G, it relies on that. It can't only be deployed in pockets. It has to have wide area coverage for everyone to enjoy the benefits of it. And as such, it becomes this next generation innovation platform. It will also reach many homes in ways that we see today, because we've seen that many users are using their mobile infrastructure as a replacement for fixed. So what we today call fixed wireless access will perhaps in a few years' time be the new normal for connectivity. You don't need to have fixed connectivity in many places. You can rely entirely on fixed wireless connections and mobile connectivity. We are, as I said, living through this extremely challenging times. But it's also the sort of times when necessity is a key driver for any innovation that really matters. So I'd say that now is the time to innovate for the good, not only for innovation's sake. And I'm sure that what we come out of this, although it's a little bit difficult to see the full breadth of this new normal, is going to be changed behaviors. In our consumer research, we already today see that consumers are adapting to this new normal. And I think that's something that is natural. It may be a little bit frightening to some, but it's also something that fast tracks us into a much more resource efficient, clearly digital society of the future. In fact, this also promotes collaborations in new ways, such as you are doing here in the South Summit. And until I can welcome you all to the Ericsson Innovation Labs, the D15 Labs, where you can really work on 5G hands-on, things like network slicing technology, advanced cloud-native 5G core, the orchestration pieces. I, of course, urge you to connect over the systems and the technology that we have today. I can also, of course, welcome you to connect with Ericsson Ventures, where we have capabilities to work with startups in the early phases as they are leveraging the technology of these global networks. So with that, I wish you all a great event. And of course, in these times, I have to all wish you to stay healthy and stay safe. And with that, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Eric, we have a little bit of time. I just want to ask you a question that we get asked a lot. If you're a medium-sized to a little bit big company and you want to know how you can leverage 5G, who should you be talking to?
Well, I think those smaller or mid-sized companies, they may already have a partner when it comes to 4G technology, innovating on a cloud platform that is connecting to 4G. So, of course, there is a great opportunity to continue to work with those established ecosystem builders on the cloud side. But I think if you're a little bit more adventurous, you would go to Ericsson, you would go to the D15 Labs, you would contact us to be able to develop and run your ideas on an experimental platform, something that mimics what you have or will have very soon in the real world, 5G as it will look like in your country very soon. And there we can really do the work, we can integrate, we can do performance optimization, you can use the edge compute, all the things that I mentioned before. So we are certainly open for that contact in the business. And there's no denying that many of the strong service providers have own innovation activities in their labs that are very open now for 5G engagements. And this is true in Spain, this is true in all countries in the world. 5G is really now open for business.
Okay, thank you. Well, you heard it there from the boss, the CTO of Ericsson. Ericsson is happy to help you. All right, let's keep going. So right now, we're just about to start the pitches. And I want to tell you a little bit about how this is going to work. We have 8 amazing entrepreneurs that are going to pitch for 3 minutes, and then we're going to have 2 minutes of Q&A. Now, what are the jury going to be evaluating these pitches on? You know, what are the criteria? Number 1 is innovation. How innovative is this? Number 2, scalability. I mean, you all heard this. If it's not scalable, investors are not interested. Viability. How realistic is this? You know, can you make it happen? Is the technology doable? The team. Well, I don't need to tell you, but the team is number 1. Investors invest in teams. So that's one of the things you should be looking out for. And finally, it's what they call investability or investor readiness. Is this thing ready for showtime? So let's begin. We have an amazing jury. I think you're seeing some of these people, who they are, in terms of their logos. And we're just about ready to start. We have people from all over the world. So here we are. We're going to start with our pitches. And let's begin with pitch number 1. This startup is from the Netherlands. It is represented by Betsy Lindsay, who's the CFO. It's called Aircision. Aircision aims at using optical wireless communication systems for connecting cell towers in 5G networks. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Aircision.
The amount of data being transferred through mobile devices is expected to be 10 times higher by 2026. That's why the telecom companies are pushing for the rollout of 5G. If we look at the current networks, each antenna has a pretty good range. By installing new 5G antennas, although the capacity is much higher, the range is much smaller. So even to have the same coverage, a lot of towers and antennas will need to be installed. That means a lot more backhaul connections between towers will be needed. There are 2 conventional ways we do it today, fiber optics and microwave. Both have limitations. Fiber optics is challenging to deploy, particularly in rural and remote areas, while microwave requires governmental licenses to operate, spectrum licenses, and is affected by interference and has a big trade-off between range and bandwidth. That's why the industry is looking into free space optics. Free space optics uses light propagation through the air without any wires to transmit data. The biggest challenge, it does not work well under bad weather conditions such as rain. That's where we come in. We're Aircision, and we're developing the most robust free space optic systems in the world that provide high bandwidth and high reliability. Instead of traditional Gaussian beams, we use a structured laser beam. It has an intense central spot and concentric rings around it. Because of this structure, when the beam is partially blocked, let's say by rain, the beam reconstructs itself on the other side. So in the presence of rain or fog, the signal is still transmitted. The market is huge. The annual investment in 5G infrastructure will be in the order of billions over the next 5 years. We want to be a key player. We want to take at least 20% of that market share. And as of our press release on March 31st, let's just say we are collaborating with some of the smartest optics experts in the world, CERN. We are an official CERN spinoff. And we're also collaborating with TNO, which has more than 10 years experience in developing free space optic systems for space-related applications. In addition, we're validating 5G challenges with some of the top telecom operators and subsystem manufacturers in the world, such as Telefonica and Ericsson. Last year, we achieved TRL4 by conducting tests in lab environment, and now we are building a prototype to be tested outdoors this summer. We're planning to launch our product in the market of 2021, and so far we have raised 230,000 euros, and we're closing on a round of 2 million euros later in Q4 of this year. Our team combines experience in finance, marketing, and technology. On the technology side, we have 30 years of experience in optics and telecom. Together with our strong advisory board and our mentor group, we feel like we're in the right position to tackle all the challenges ahead of us. At Aircision, we believe that we are powering a high-speed connected world. Thank you.
And now we got 2 minutes of Q&A from the jury. Can I have questions, please?
Sorry. Hello.
Okay. Yes, I got a hand here. Juan Lopez.
Hi. Thank you for the presentation. Just you were in one of the slides. You were talking about the use of funds of that 2 million round, and I saw 60% would be on R&D. 60% would be on R&D. My question is, what is the readiness of the technology that you are now proposing? And a second follow-up question is there any other alternatives besides those that you mentioned, the traditional ones, fiber optics and microwave, that could compete in the near future with your technology?
Great questions. So right now we sit at TRL4, but we'll be at TRL6 by October. So we plan tests this summer where we will show the reliability of our beam as well as our alignment system and how that works. So we'll be raising in September, October timeframe. That's when we raise that $2 million. In terms of other technologies, we see other Li-Fi applications for local transmission. But other than that, there's of course satellite connection for other types of telecom backhaul. But yeah, I don't see that there's a real player like we are. Thank you.
Javier?
Paris. Yes, very quick question of the technology. So who's behind the technology? I mean, what's the experience of the team? How many people are working on that, and since when? Because this is a huge disruption. So I mean, with only a quarter of a million, it's very difficult to develop it.
Right, understood. So the beam structure itself was discovered at CERN and used mostly for laser interferometry. And in a venture builder program run by High Tech Excel, we brought together some beautiful technical minds, some optical experts from ASML here in the Netherlands, as well as our CTO has had 30 years experience in telecommunications and laser photonics. So we have a team of 4 on the technology side, and that includes electronics experts as well as optical electronics experts. So we also partner with Hittech Group and NTS Group, and they give us lots of feedback on our build plan, our technology build plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We're out of time. Let's continue.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Our next startup is from Spain. This company is a cybersecurity firm focused on robots that create RIS, an immune system for robots. It's represented by its CEO, David Mayoral. Join me in welcoming Alias Robotics.
Hi, good morning in the States, good afternoon in Spain. My name is David Mayoral. I'm the CEO and founder of Alias Robotics, which is a cyber security robotics firm that is focusing on creating the next generation of robot security. But before I start, let me tell you a story that started in 2014. We created a successful robotics business that we were able to sell in 2016 to a Swiss company. And then after that, we realized that robots haven't been created, not even designed to be secure, because we really been there building those robots and selling them. And we identify a niche, an opportunity, the next opportunity in robotics, the missing part that we were able to really realize during these years. So that's why we create Alias. But all of this wouldn't be possible within a great team, a dream team, the secret sauce, the way that they call it here in the States. We have biologists, we have cybersecurity experts, roboticists, salespeople, finance, designers. And all of these make Alias unique. And not just only that, they are also part of Alias. They are shareholders, most of them, and they're part of the vision and the mission of the company to really change the game of how the people are seeing robots. Because we are living the hero of robots. They are driving for us right now. This is not science fiction. This is a fact. They are part of our life. And also, they're saving our lives. And right now, even more with the situation that we are living, when we need to rely on the robots to pretty much everything. And that's a problem that we want to emphasize, that I really want to emphasize here, which is that robots are not secure. There is no solution today, and the consequence is that they are always in risks. And we can see here how much we rely on robots and how much we need them to be secure. But don't panic, because Alias Robotics is here to help. That's why we create the first robot immune system, the first AI antivirus to really protect the robots. Because at the end of the day, robotics is the art of integration. So we decided to create more than 5 different models to really adapt to the circumstances of the robots, to really complex situation, and how we will adapt and evolve to their systems. We have some traction. Since 2019, we were able to close more than 600K in sales, having already profit our first year with more than 30K. And after the period of South Summit in 2019, we were able to close more than 50K from funders, team, and some small VCs. And right now, we're looking for 3 million to really change the game, to upgrade the game, we don't call it like that, to really expand our commercial team in Europe, in the US, certificate our technology, keep having our IPs, partnership channel, creating different partnership channels, our RoboLab, showrooms, to keep inviting clients and end users and distributors to show our technology real time, to increase our amazing team, and as well to keep conquering different robots and different platforms. So thank you very much, and I will be more than happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Actually, David is an IE alumni, so welcome home again. All right, some questions from the jury. How about some questions from those of you that are like oceans away from us? Any questions from the horizon here? Oscar, what do you think of this project? Anything come to mind?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, obviously, the secret is in the execution. So I'd be curious to see how the company evolves over time, and more importantly, what type of milestones have they set for themselves, and how are they going to deliver?
David, any quick comment on that? Have do you have a disciplined set of milestones and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we are really excited to say that in the short term that we've been here in the States, we were able to close a contract with big companies, and we are really excited to use upgrade the game for aliens. That's why we are looking and seeking for partnerships and help to really push the go-to-market strategy. Because once that this crisis is over, and one thing that is clear is that robots is going to be the main thing. And securing those platforms are going to be critical for the next years.
Okay,
and we
good.
want to be there as the reference in the market.
Sure.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
David, sorry, if I may, can you talk a little bit about the competitive advantage and how do you expect the competition to react to your solution?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Our advantage is that we've been in the robotics industry for more than 6 years. We really understand how the robots inside out work, how the operating system right now is in the 80-90% of the market, and how we are right now delivering a solution where right now the competition is starting to think about how they can implement solution to really help this new topic. So we have years in advantage, a really deep knowledge, and a great team that is executing right now.
Okay, thank you, David. Javier Villamizar. You got a question, right?
Yep, thank you. So my question is, when you talk about robots, there is a variety of them, the variety of operating systems, variety of hardware and software. This is not computers, this is not mobile phones. What is the challenge that you face to actually integrate your solution, and does it make it scalable or not?
Yeah, right now in the robotics industry, there is this new operating system that is called robot operation system that right now is in the 80-70% of the market and keep increasing each year. And we were one of the fathers back in 2012 creating that operating system in Silicon Valley with the Dream Team in robotics. And that's why we decided at that time to really drop what we were doing and creating the first company, really helping the people to create robots through our first company. And now we want to secure them.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right, moving right along. Our next startup provides the best-in-class solution to measure traffic that engages stores to optimize labor, marketing performance, merchandising, and real estate investments. The country of this startup is Mexico, the Republic of Mexico. And representing GetIn, which is the name of the startup, is Anabel Trejo, the CEO and co-founder. Join me in welcoming GetIn.
Hi, my name is Anabel, CEO and co-founder of GetIn. Physical stores are facing a complicated challenge. The control of many stores is difficult. They had never known how many people walk outside their stores, and they don't have accurate data to make decisions. GetIn provides the best-in-class solution to measure traffic in stores with an interactive platform and insights to take immediate actions to implement according to their opportunities areas. Our metrics are walkers. It refers to the number of people walking outside a store. We create this metric, and for the first time, the stores can measure the impact of the storefront. Visitors, it refers to the number of people that are inside the store. This metric is the most accurate because our technology does not count the staff and atypical customer behaviors. With these two metrics, we obtain the attraction rate. This refers to how attractive is the store for customers, time to stay inside a store, average sale, and how much money did they stop selling. These are some images of the platform, and you will be wondering how do we do it. We connect this small device in stores. It is a plug and play, and we capture the Wi-Fi signals from the cell phones. This is not a Bluetooth technology, and we don't depend on the customer connection to some Wi-Fi network. We charge a monthly fee for each device in a store. It is a mandatory contract of 1 year, and that includes access to the platform with unlimited users. The price is $40. We begin in operations in 2016. Technology is developed by us, and we own it. We have presence Panama, Costa Rica, Argentina, Guatemala, Colombia. Our churn rate is 2% per year. Until March 2020, we have 113 clients with 2,700 stores. These our sales went last year with $470,000. These are some of our clients. I have two founding partners. Francisco is the CCO and Matias, our CTO. In the team, we have Ingrid, our data scientist, and two developers who lead the IT team. Getin's main competitors have been in the industry for more than 20 years. Despite this, Getin has managed to be a leader in a short time. Our value proposition is Getin has the most affordable price, accuracy, easy installations, and we can give benchmarks, and it is the only technology that can count walkers outside the store. Getin is focused on covering Mexico market, and as a second step, the Latin American market retail. We are raising a capital round of $600,000 for sales, acquisition of more clients, and technology for developing artificial intelligence on the platform to give recommendations for actions by a store automatically. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now for some Q&A. Javier Villamizar, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Question is, what kind of insights do you provide to the stores and the brands based on the technology? And second, how do you see the threat of Bluetooth low energy versus Wi-Fi as a solution for the same application?
Of course. First of all, the key indicators that we give, it's much more for tech decisions in terms of marketing, because they can measure the impact of the store. And second, for operations, for example, how many people of the staff they need to have on the store, and I don't know, maybe in the afternoon, in the morning, and maybe this kind of
is the measurement just the number of people in the store, or what else? What other insights you provide?
Yes, it's because of the number of the people of the walkers out of the store and the visitors in the stores, and how many people are there and how many times are in the store. And that's why we can cross all the information with the number of the staff and the number of sales and the number of tickets that they generate.
Okay. Sorry, I had a question. Can you comment a little bit, like, how would this be different from just using cameras or camera technology, which some companies have right now to kind of like count the individuals and distinguish the gender, age, etc.?
Yes, in that moment, the differentiation of the cameras and our technology is the cost and the scalability, because right now we only need to send this advice to the stores by mail, and the camera needs to be installed by a technician, and the cost is more higher than the little device that we have.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Ichazo? Your microphone? No, mute. It's still on mute. Can't hear you.
Me now?
Yes, now we do.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I just wanted to know a little bit more about the AI that you want to implement. So which sort of information are you going to provide, and how do you plan to train those models to use AI in this application?
Did you hear the question, Annabelle? We can't hear you, Annabelle.
No, I didn't hear.
Ichazo, you want to speak one more time?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sure. Can you hear me now, Annabelle?
Yes.
Great. So
Yes,
my
I
question
can
was
hear you.
around the
Thank you.
AI that you mentioned. You are going to integrate some AI. So what sort of insights are you going to provide with AI, and how do you plan to train those models so you can get insights from that?
Yes, we have information for more than 4 years, and this information can help us to develop all these AI that we want. First of all, because the history that we have and the stores and the industry, and then we can give with that information, start to teach this new technology to develop the insights that the stores needs to do in order to develop the sales of the stores. Okay, but it's based in the history that we have of all the stores that we.
Thank you. We're going to take one more question, unfortunately, because several of you have raised your hand. Ali, you want to say something?
Yes, hi, Annabelle. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you for the presentation.
Yes, I
so
can
basically,
hear you.
I just want to ask, I'm currently in Dubai, and in Dubai, they have the big stores, basically the big malls. And usually most of these malls, they treat or they deal with such data as airports deal with that, using Wi-Fi. So I know for a fact over here, so that Dubai Mall and more of the Emirates, they usually provide this data to the stores through the Wi-Fi that they provide for the visitors. So how is your product more competitive or can be adopted for the big stores to actually provide the data for the retail stores that they have in the malls?
Yes, of course. First, we are not like, we don't give Wi-Fi to the users. We only hear the signals that our cell phones give, and it's different the technology that you told me to us, because we don't give internet and I don't have information of the users, and I don't need that the users connect to the Wi-Fi network. We only hear all the signals that the cell phones give, and that's the differentiation, because I have more population and I don't need someone to connect.
Sorry, I will just follow up with that question. So what information would you provide that would be they can provide through the user that they have connected through the Wi-Fi?
No, it's because I only give walkers and I only give visitors and time of the stay in the mall or in the store. I don't give more information.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try to do one very quick question. Key Lam, you had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I have a question. Two questions actually. How many boxes do you need in the premises, and what range do they cover? How many box?
How many what?
You provide box, right?
Many box?
Yeah. How many do you need?
Yes, a little box.
In a store, and what's the range? Two, what?
It depends. It depends of the store. If they want to be more accurate in terms of like zones, we can put like, for example, in Best Buy we have 10 boxes for a store, but usually with one box is only enough to measure the store.
Relating question to Ali's question is how you provide the walkers and the people entering the store. Can you identify individuals?
Yes, we identify individuals because I hear the signals of the cell phone, and the thing that I hear is the MAC address. It's a unique ID that the cell phone has. In that way, I can identify one cell phone. It's a unique person, and that's it. And the thing that we develop is that we train this little device to measure the store, the inside, and then measure the door, the front door, and the hole of the front door.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, walking into a store is never going to be the same again.
Thank you.
Thank you. So moving right along, our next startup empowers edge computing in IoT and mobile with an edge database and synchronization solution. Representing ObjectBox is Vivian Dollinger, the CEO from Germany.
A future transformed by data. Imagine your car driving itself to being repaired before you even notice there's a problem, your fridge restocked while at work, food waste reduced to a minimum. Wouldn't that be nice? As with any dream, before we can transform the world, we need to lay the groundwork. Like in digitization projects typically the tech, making data available when needed, where needed. Easy to forget until you deal with the consequences. Typical hidden requirements include availability, scalability, resilience, the sheer data volume, security. One puzzle piece of solving this is edge computing. And it means storing data locally on the device it was created on and using it there, using a decentralized approach for your application. And ObjectBox empowers edge computing with an on-device database that is 10 times faster than any alternative, uniquely designed to sit on a wide variety of devices from sensors to server, and it comes with an out-of-the-box data synchronization solution. In reality, this means applications can run independent from a constant cloud connection. When offline, they can respond much faster in near real time while keeping data secure and at the same time lowering cloud costs back to 60%. On top, ObjectBox takes care the data is available where needed, when needed. This is why already more than 300,000 developers are using ObjectBox and have implemented more than 30,000 apps. ObjectBox is a horizontal technology, and it can really run on a wide variety of applications and projects and mobile and IoT. I think that's one of our greatest strengths and probably our greatest weakness as well. And that's why I'm pitching today. We are looking for more projects and cooperation partners, and to make this really tangible so that everyone has an idea on where, for example, to use us. A very current example is the Corona tracing apps. It has been much debated, at least in Germany, and people are worried about data security, data ownership, data privacy, and all these things. And a big part of the solution, maybe the answer even, would be to use edge computing and a decentralized computing approach, which ObjectBox enables, and specifically in this case for mobile devices, iOS and Android. And so if you are interested in our technology, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
What do we got here? William, get your hand up, William.
My hand up was for getting, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, William. I'm sorry. Okay, Manuel.
Sorry.
Manuel Lorenzo. Manuel, can you hear me? Okay, we have some connection problems there with Manuel. Can you hear me, Manuel? All right, we're going to jump to Paloma. Paloma, we'll come back, Manuel. I think check your mute.
Hello. On your project, I would love to know more about the competitive landscape and your business model, because this all seems quite technical. So
Okay.
is your business model?
So I first heard competition and then business model. It was a bit tricky. But generally, the competition, typically when people hear database, they think like, wow, there's a ton of competition and tons of new databases coming out, and that's a very highly competitive market with lots of players. The market we are looking at is really the edge computing market, which means it's restricted devices, for example, mobile phones or IoT gateways. And in that space, there's really only a very limited competition. Main players would include SQLite, which is fully open source and free, for mobile Realm database, and for IoT Redis database. There's Couchbase Lite, which partially also can be considered as a closer competitor. Everything else then is more specific, like for example, special time series databases. So that's really the core of our direct competition. With regards to the business model, it's the main database is free to use. So we're going for scale here, and it's a developer tool. And the synchronization solution is a paid add-on. In IoT, it's a bit different because in IoT, when you deal with someone who, for example, deals with a mission-critical application, they usually typically require access to the core. They want to know what's going on inside the code, and our core is closed source. And so what we offer is an open core and an SLA for those companies that are like bigger IoT companies that need to provide the security and service level agreements also to their clients.
Thank you. Okay, last question here, Francisco.
Hello, I'm Francisco Crudal from Insight Mexico. I will have a question regarding the time to market and the obstacles that you have reached on this time, because I'm looking at the company was founded in 2017, but we do not have any current revenue registered or minimum revenue for 2019. So what's the barrier? What's stopping this great technology to get into the market?
Basically, it's a deep tech technology, so it takes some time. So, for example, we started out with the free database on Android, so that's where the most traction comes from. And then we created IoT bindings for the free database. Now we have a centralized sync, but not yet the fully distributed version. So, you know, yeah, it's just not a tiny product.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along. Our next startup is a location analytics company empowering businesses to understand and forecast people's movement, behavior, and demographics in the outdoor world, based on data from millions of people with privacy, peace of mind. Join me in welcoming Dan Gildoni, who's representing Plasense from Israel.
Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Plasense. For the past 20 years that I have been a serial entrepreneur, I've been dealing mainly in the online worlds. In the online world, we understand everything the users are interested in, and we make decisions based on that. At Plasense, we're now bringing these methodologies to the physical world. Now, when I say physical world, I'm referring to commercial real estate, anywhere from supermarkets, banks, outdoor advertising, malls, and of course, even the ability to understand where to put electric vehicle charging stations. It seems that up to now, these type of businesses have been basing their information on gut feelings, by sending out laborious surveys, or by using guys like this guy, which are just counting people on a street corner. And based on these type of insights, they've been basing information of billions of euros. With Plasense, there's no need for any hardware. We're basing all the information just on our machine learning capabilities to bring near real-time information on pretty much any location out there. We do that all with the power of the smartphones that you all have in your devices. In Germany, where we started, we're currently connected with 11 million devices. And with these 11 million devices, we're able to bring granular information, as I will show you right away. So here, for example, we're looking at a mall located outside of Berlin, and we were asked to compare it with another mall located about 15 kilometers away. We understand the density of people in the high streets, and we know where they're coming from, meaning from what neighborhoods, from what additional points of interest, and where they're going. And because we don't need any type of hardware, our ability to adjust any location and show them side by side is a matter of a click of a button. We know how often they come back to that location, and once they come back, how long do they actually spend in the location? We know things like languages and have the ability to show shopping interests, genders, ages, and to show an accurate footfall count of about a year of historical data down to the granularity of every 2 hours. Now, you're probably asking yourself, where does this data come from? So we partner up with third-party applications that you already have installed on your phones, and we pay them to get access to the data. We're able to do that because we solved the privacy issue. We created an algorithm that we call contextual privacy that completely sterilizes the data without the ability to understand who the users are. We've been serving some of the largest retailers in Germany and Europe, providing them insights about their business, providing insights to real estate companies, outdoor home companies, and also helping define where to actually put electric vehicle charging stations. I'd love to show you more and further discuss. Thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Okay, and now for some Q&A. So, what do we got here? Speechless, right? Okay, yeah, all of a sudden now we got some questions here. All right, Sean Seaton.
Hi. Quick question for you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you charge for the product or the service? Is it kind of an ongoing SaaS revenue stream to you where they pay for monthly access, or do you charge on a project
It's a SaaS
basis?
model. We give an annual subscription with a cap of the amount of analyses that they can do. So we have different packages which would fit different corporates with different sizes of amounts that they would need to analyze on an annual base. And it's done by just a regular SaaS model.
Nikolai.
Yes, hey, thank you. Quick question, because this one is, of course, you're in the full competition of all the telcos out there who are trying to do the same, right? With the Inveniums, Teradata, etc., Telefonica, Next, we all tried this. And essentially they would be coming to this data for free. So how do you see the competition, also the differentiation to telco?
So the telco available data, we see in the world that in the beginning of the year, most of the American telcos already publicly showed that they're leaving this game. In Germany, we see a similar thing. And more than that, the telcos are providing information based on triangulation of cell towers, meaning an accuracy of about 250 meters. And with cell phones, we get down to the accuracy of about 3 to 5 meters with the GPS. Adding on to that, telco information, I mean, for example, in Germany, about 50% of the owners of the accounts are not the owners of the devices. So the ability to get an understanding of who these users are is just not enough. We've been seeing now with the traction that we've had so far with the retailers or real estate companies, that the ability to bring near real-time information, which is so granular, is a big game changer.
Okay, very last question. I'm sorry we can't answer everybody. William, I knew we'd left you behind last time. Do you have a question?
Yes, just a quick one here. I'm curious about how you integrated this, or are you in talks of integrating this with the API of like companies like Facebook, etc., to bring like actionable from the insights, bring them actionable and use it on the advertising, so that these, for example, retailers that you work with can use the insights and bring them to advertising in an automated way?
So the advertising thing is tricky, and I need to understand more carefully the question. But the one thing we don't do in the advertising is link to an individual. Anything that can somehow understand who the individual is something that we don't do. We have the power of using a huge panel and creating, based on that, very in-depth statistical information and insights about the area, the surrounding area, the location, their competitors, etc. And we do all that without jeopardizing privacy in any way whatsoever. So these linkages that you were speaking about them, we don't do.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along. We're running a little bit late here. That was PlaySense. And now the next startup is an easy, flexible, affordable way of simplifying the digital twin of your venues. From Singapore, Ovidio Stefan Stoyan is going to present PDGem.
Hello, I'm Ovidio, and I'm here to tell you about PDGem. We simplify the digital twins of your venue. First, let me take a step back to what happened in April last year. April 2019, the world got hit by tragic images of Notre Dame burning. What happened there? All guards heard the alarm but addressed the situation either at the wrong location or with bad communication, resulting in missing the starting fire. What can you learn from that? while human-to-machine interfaces create error-prone situations that can escalate quickly into tragedies. Also, centralizing all the information doesn't play well on the field where people are potentially spread across large areas. So we have decided to bring to the table a new paradigm where people are exposed first to information within a given geospatial context, or 3D if you prefer. How do we do that? Well, our solution comes in 3 components, each tending to solve a piece of the puzzle. First, 3D is hard. 3D with connected data dynamically displayed, which we call 4D, is even harder. We make it simpler with Studio. Secondly, traditional control rooms are full of screens. We need just one basically to jump from a global smart city grasp to single room or objects moves little view. Should an important situation inside data occur, the operator understands quickly where it happened, why, and what he can do to fix it. Of course, supervisor is perfectly embeddable within your IoT platform or software of choice. Thus, Navigator is currently a project aiming at achieving the decentralization of control room with augmented visualization of situations directly accessible off-site by operator assigned with a resolution task. So what changed with PTGem? Well, 3D was there indeed, but just for an elite view, which constituted BM sector mainly, built on closed-door vendors. IoT data display capability is also there, aggregated into multiple dashboards and technologies dealing with the cost of intricate interoperability. And last, incident monitoring is there to focus on the most advanced control room for critical size. However, with this new presentation of situation coming from a 3D plan, the end user experience is different, better, simpler, quicker, and more efficient, and mostly available to all thanks for the API for developers. Here you can see some of our use cases. We have in security, hospitality, construction, industry, transportation, and logistics. And here you can see our business model for 3 different scenarios. Our team is comprised of 5 members with over 40 years of experience in the corporate world, and our strategic committee is comprised of 7 members with more than 100 years of proven experience in the corporate world. Our vision is to transform a unique data visualization feature into a leading human-to-machine entry point. And we aim to do that by the 4 steps: target vertical players, innovative apps enabler, connected venues network, and data marketplace. In summary, it's easy to use our app, easy to build a digital twin, easy to set up the connection between our platform, and easy to operate by anyone. It's flexible, connect with any type of sensor and data source through APIs, and it's affordable, added value at a low pricing subscription. You can scan the QR code to test our live demo or access the website. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Q&A time. Questions? Okay. Kilam, tell me.
Hi, can you explain your business model, please, in more detail?
So the business model we have is currently for has 3 scenarios. One is for vertical solution providers like IoT based, for example, pest control service providers. We optimize the traffic positioning, visualize pest trajectories, and show the results in 3D. That would be one example. And then another example would be for IoT platforms, horizontal or vertical. For example, like Bosch IoT Suite, Schneider Electric Exostructure, or the third one would be for IoT integrators. So for each of these scenario, we have either a subscription per site or subscription per capacity threshold, or we have a subscription per connected device with one included site.
All right. More questions. Ali. Ali, microphone.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I just want to check. So basically, how do you scan the area? So if I'm a business and I would like to have this map of my entire building, how do you use that?
Depending on the size of your venue, for example, we can either build a model ourselves, or if it's a very large venue, like a refinery, for example, we can scan using the partners with laser scanning technologies and cloud point solution. And then from there, we can transform it into the 3D that you integrate within our platform.
Is there any live data that we can also provide? Do you provide, is there a beacons using Bluetooth, or is it just the scanning?
It's not a solution that we provide. We just provide a visualization for your data.
Okay, thank you.
Francisco, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I would like to ask you if you're thinking in any use case for being able to share information from one location, venue, or even for public spaces. Have you analyzed the use case for a city authorities or in a more smart cities?
We had a customer
mode?
that used our solution for pest control within the Singapore airport to track the movement of the rats. So he placed several sensors, and he wanted to visualize in our app, within our app where they were placed exactly and where he got the most readings. So he could then further deploy his solution of catching the rats. Actually, that would be one example.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along. This next startup is called SDX Network, and they unlock a universe of sensitive data, providing data consumers the next generation of precise data analysis. From Spain, and I'm very proud to be able to say that one of my ex-students, alumni of IE, joined me in welcoming Alexander Chevtav, who's the CEO.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Chevtaev. I'm CEO and co-founder of SDX Network. So the big data market. By 2030, 95% of all corporate decisions will be data-driven. Companies of all levels are encouraged to exchange data and invest in its analysis. But at the same time, only less than 1% of generated data is being analyzed. AI is starving for data. The reason for this is regulations and general data ownership concerns. The data consumers can't access all the data they need, and data providers don't have reliable instruments to monetize their data without losing the ownership. But imagine the value of this market unlocking the remaining 99% of the data. This is where SDX Network steps in. We're opening the whole universe of data, allowing to perform secure analysis on top of third parties' data without moving it from the initial premise. Here is how the process looks like. The encrypted algorithm of data consumer is sent to the premise of one or multiple data providers. Then the computation is performed directly on the provider's premise, and the aggregated results of computation return back to the data consumer. To make it all work, we combine different privacy-enhancing technologies, such as federated learning, multi-party computation, and also Ethereum private network to create a decentralized environment where operations are fully enforceable, traceable, and automated. As the result, data consumers get access to more data and reduce the cost and time of transaction, while data providers are able to monetize their data with keeping a full control over its ownership. Our main industry is mobile and retail data. For the first stage of product development, we're now designing an NDP for a company, Abacus Consulting, which will be able to perform a secure analysis on top of mobile's data. And on the second stage, we're planning to scale our solution to healthcare data analysis. And geography-wise, our plans is to launch product in Spain and move it to Western European countries. Our business model is based on monthly SaaS and transaction fee, depending on the complexity of operation. And as for competitors, this technology has been proven in the indirect way on the protocol level. And there is a range of early stage startups which are in the development stage. So to implement this and win the competition, we have a very well-balanced team of global experts in innovative product development, BizDev, tech consulting, blockchain, cryptography, and secure data analysis. And our goal for this wonderful summit is to find more potential clients to develop a proof of concept. We're planning to raise the seed round of 500K, which will allow us to develop a fully functioning, scalable MVP. And we're looking for star advisors from the big data industry to join our project. If you're one of those three, please contact us, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, Q&A. Ivan.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to know a little bit more about the team experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So technology-wise, our CEO, Andy, he has been working on these technologies for more than 10 years. He's from Singapore and he is a senior scientist also in A-Star Alliance, which is, I'm also teaching that in university, but also he has the experience of developing and executing similar products. We have a team of like developers, which we are not like, which we have not hired yet, but also who worked on this solution on a protocol level on a similar technology. And also we have like Alex Viñas, who is a very well-known tech consultant in Spain, working in the blockchain sector. Me, myself, I've been working with blockchain startups within several last years. I'm also very aware of technology, and I've been mostly managing tech teams all of my life. And also my another partner, Antonio, who is a sales machine. You know, he can just work and sell like all days long, never gives up, that kind of guy. So we have a very well balanced team. So having all the capabilities to execute it technically and also business-wise.
Okay, Ichazo, you have a question.
Yes, from the product perspective, how do you think you are competing with products, for example, that anonymize data or create synthetic data sets from which people just basically can generate data which is free of use and encrypted, let's put it this way?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a bit of like other way around, you know, to do the thing, like when you work on your data set, eliminating all the private information, etc. But it's not only about this, because, you know, cases can vary, because this, what you have said, solves the problem of, okay, I eliminate the private information and my data set is not that private anymore, okay? But what we do, for example, like to give you the use case, we're now working on developing the first product. Like the company, which is like willing to buy a data set, like is going to the data seller, and the data seller says, okay, like they say either, okay, it's our data, we're fine if you do computation and you pay for this, but we don't want you to give the data because it's our main asset. Like if we share it, I mean, we're losing, you know, like the very big asset we have. Or the second case is that they need to do a little computation, but the guy who owns the data says, okay, I can sell you the data, but this is my data set, and he charges like a lot. Where he said, I don't need the whole data set. I need only to do, you know, to do one small computation and get the insight. So when they like agree both that, okay, like if you were able to do this and you don't take all my data, I can charge you less. But there are no still, you know, like reliable instruments for this kind of cases. So that's what we are doing.
Okay, thank you. We're running a little bit late here, so we'll move right along. All right, our final startup for today. This company enables the connectivity of thousands of smart city cameras over the limited bandwidth of a cellular network. It's from Israel, and it's represented by Shlomi Arbel, who's the CEO. Join me in welcoming Telecom.
Telecom enabled the connectivity of smart city, thousands of smart city cameras over the cellular network. So there are more than 12 million smart city cameras installation in a year worldwide, and it's a growth of 23% per year. This makes the market size of only the connectivity for around $78 billion. So 95% of the installation uses cables. It means you need to dig in the sidewalks and to put this cable. It's a long project, very expensive. And of course, it's not flexible. You cannot put the camera wherever you want. You need to put it wherever it can connect to the cable. So what the city needs? The city needs is a plug-and-play solution. Immediate installation with a total flexibility anywhere, anytime, and of course, very low cost. So you can do that only if you have an existing infrastructure. And this can be, you have an existing infrastructure only using cellular network. But the problem, it doesn't work. It's because of the bandwidth, the limited bandwidth of the cellular network, you cannot connect more than 1 or 2 cameras over the one cell. And the city needs tens or hundreds of cameras in this area in the city. So Telecom solved this problem by using a machine learning solution that does a prediction of the statistical behavior of the video and the statistical behavior of the network, and then it fits all this video into the narrow band of the cellular network. Of course, the city will benefit from this solution. This is the end customer, but we're working with a B2B together with the integrators. So the integrators go to the bids, and we are working with the integrator. Also, a cellular operator will have a lot of benefits from this project because then it can use the uplink, the cellular uplink. So we have some competition like the cable, millimeter waves, and other solution of the cellular, but we are the only one in the world that gives a solution over the cellular with a high quality. And this is something that you cannot see today. So right now we have a demo with Bosch in Madrid, a pilot system, and we have also in Tel Aviv, and we are launching now, starting to launch in this period a project with Bosch and CIMIC in Spain, and also FCC in the Bernabeu in Spain, and in Tel Aviv, in Sri Lanka, and India. Our business model is based on SaaS, monthly payment of $12 per month. This is made together with Bosch. We define this business model together with them, so it will work. So in the team, I'm the co-founder and CEO. This is my second startup. The first one was acquired in 2015. Lior Ophir is the co-founder and CTO, the most smart man I know about communication. We have Sigalit, who is the CEO, and Ron Matas is the VP Marketing and Business Development. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Q&A time now. All right, this is your last chance, jury, to ask some questions here. Our last startup. Okay, Kilam.
Hi, do your system rely on, I presume your system rely on having agreement with mobile carriers or operators? Have you got those agreement in place? And if so, how many?
No, what's nice about our system is that we don't need any agreement with the operator. We are just connecting to our cellular. We just need a regular SIM to connect to our system. So the connectivity this is what's nice about it, is using a standard camera, standard modem, and of course, without any communication with the cellular service provider. We just need to buy SIM.
Any SIM with data connection. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Sophia.
All right. Here, one question.
Yeah, I got one question. So does it mean that you need, for each camera, you need one box that you put on that? And does this box then need electricity, or is it really just the SIM card?
Yes, not for each camera. Usually they are like, if you put on a pole, you have like 4 cameras on pole. So we need one box to connect between 1 to 4 cameras. And yes, we need electricity. We connect the SIM and that's it. Like it will take like a day to connect cameras over the cellular.
All right, thank you.
Very fast installation.
Okay, last question, Ivan.
Hello, yeah, well, quick question. I would like to know a little bit more about your integration with the different VMS, I mean, like the video management software systems. Are you able to integrate to many of them?
So right now we're working with the VMS of Milestone, but again, as I said before, this is what's nice about our system. It can integrate to standard VMS. We don't need a special VMS. We don't need to do anything. The video streams is different than the control streams. So the video streams flew directly to the VMS. So we can work with Bosch VMS or with Avigilon, Milestone. All VMS can integrate to our system. There's no problem.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, well, that brings to a close the presentations by all the startups. So right now what's going to be happening is that we'll be tallying up the scores. But in the meantime, we've got a special surprise. We have a fireside chat with Paul Meissner from Amazon. Paul is the Vice President for Policy and Innovation, and he'll be telling us a lot about data and post-COVID-19. That is the topic of our fireside chat. So, Paul, you ready there, guy?
I am ready, Paris. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, we were together at South Summit last year, and after that, we ran into each other in about 2 or 3 different places, Dubai, somewhere in the Far East somewhere, but
Singapore.
It's good to be in your living room, Paul.
It's actually my favorite room in the world. It's my library, and I thought appropriate for our fireside chat. I've got a little fire going.
Is that real?
It's real.
Oh, God, do I miss fire things like that. I mean, it's like, it's been a long time. Okay, so we're going to talk about data and post-COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Amazon is a company that is known for predicting things.
Yeah.
Did you guys predict this?
No, of course not. But you're right that so much of our technique of serving customers over the years has been a matter of predicting their needs. And from a retail perspective, a lot of that has to do with seasonality. People buy different things during different periods of the year, and we can predict that fairly well. We also use artificial intelligence, and have before I even joined the company back in the mid-90s. We introduced something called collaborative filtering, and that predicts what you may want to buy. So it drives the Amazon recommendation engine. And again, that's been around for a long time. But predicting COVID-19 was not possible, as of course you know. But we were able to change both our delivery priorities and our stocking priorities to be able to focus on essential items for customers. And so changing around your supply chain on a very short time frame is not easy. So I'm very proud of the work we've done there. That's pretty exciting. But right now is a great opportunity to innovate remotely. And so congratulations to you and Maria Perez for pulling this together. I think it's great. And it's very good to see you again. I look forward to doing it in person again sometime.
Yeah, well, we have, it's not just Maria and myself. There's a whole bunch of people here that have been instrumental in getting this done. But let me ask you, Paul, so how does a company that is, for the most part taking orders of, flat screen TVs, all of a sudden organize itself to be delivering masks, and not in prime 24-hour service, but in like 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. Well, it was a total dedication from our team members across the world. We really had to reorient our supply chain. And when you change your stocking procedures, it can be kind of challenging. But one of the things about Amazon is that we've always used something called random stow. And random stow means that when we take in inventory into our fulfillment centers, our warehouses, they're placed randomly everywhere, all over the place, wherever there's space. And that works, and it actually makes us much more efficient that way. But it also means that we don't have shelf space allocated in one place for a pair of shoes and another place for face masks. It's just they're all over the place. And so that actually made it easier for us to be flexible.
All right, so let's keep going, Paul.
Sure.
We talked earlier in the week about the fact that today, there are a lot of companies that made successful products, but in a way they were like comfortable, right? And all of a sudden, what's going on now? I mean, what has COVID-19 done to these companies? And in particular, what is the role of data? Has that changed in this environment?
So yes and no. It sort of depends on the enterprise. But one of the things that you and I discussed in person at the last South Summit was how one of the big mistakes large enterprises, typically not entrepreneurs or startups, but large enterprises make the mistake of relying on a single service or product that maybe their customers just love and have loved for years, if not decades. But they expect that to continue indefinitely. And suddenly something will happen. Either a new competitor comes along or there's some externality that changes the market somehow. And then they suddenly feel the urge and the need to innovate right then, because their product no longer is as valuable as it used to be. This is happening right now to a lot of large enterprises who are finding that they haven't innovated over time, or they weren't ready for this kind of a change so suddenly. And so everyone now is faced with the need to innovate. And it's a great opportunity, though, because of the connectivity and data. First of all, the connectivity is connecting people. You see it right here on this conference, that we could not have done this 25, 30 years ago, or 35 years ago when I was beginning my career, this would not be possible. Now it is. So we're all connected as people, but it also allows the connectivity of tools. We are now able to access tools to help ourselves innovate through this remotely, as opposed to trying to develop them very locally or having to share, say, computer hardware and software expertise locally. And so now I think it's a great opportunity for enterprises of all sizes, including startups and entrepreneurs, to get familiar with the tools that are available out there. You guys, as specialists, all of you as specialists, have knowledge, and that knowledge in essence is data. And now if you can apply some of the tools that are available remotely, like AI and ML, there's a real opportunity to do this right now from your homes or wherever you're hunkered down. Just a quick plug for AWS, that you could use AWS Activate. This is a way to get some free credits, get some tutorials, and really familiarize yourself with cloud. And so obviously there are other cloud providers, but I encourage you to check out AWS and do it now while you have the opportunity to work remotely.
Yeah, and like AWS, there are other platforms out there. And I think a lot of startups don't realize it, that, you know, today, if they can get access to data, and they can actually use AI more than ever before, right?
Absolutely so. In fact, I've done some, on my personal time, some fun projects using SageMaker, which is a very simple, easy to use machine learning tool. And this just simply wasn't available 5 or 10 years ago. You couldn't just simply do this. You had to be a data scientist yourself. And back in our day, Paris, you had to buy a Cray and then pay somebody to run it. And these tools now are so easily available as a service that it's a great opportunity working from home to test them out.
Well, Paul, that I'm a big fan of Amazon, and I like to tell my students that, what Jeff has been saying, since he started, is that you guys have an obsession with the client, and you're all day trying to solve pain points. Yeah. And the importance of the user experience. Now, one of the big things, consulting firms have been making a fortune since 2014 on digital transformation. I saw a really nice comic the other day, and it said, who's driving your digital transformation strategy now? Is it the CEO, the CTO, or COVID-19? What do you think is going to happen with respect to digital transformation? I mean, I use you guys always as an example that it's a mindset. And everybody's thinking that way. What are your thoughts in terms of how digital transformation is going to change post-COVID-19?
Yeah, I think the digital transformation change was happening well before COVID-19, but it does provide another data point for all of us and an opportunity, really. The availability of machine learning, artificial intelligence tools will change every single aspect of our lives. And that was happening already before the pandemic. And now going forward, obviously, these kinds of tools are being used to solve the pandemic virus, and fix the world economy. This is going to happen over time, of course, but the transformation already was happening. So the digital transformation is really kind of two things. One is more generally, this is how economies, humans around the world are changing, and how every sort of service and product will change, presumably for the better over time, using these kinds of tools. It also means individuals and individual enterprises, including startups and entrepreneurs, their ability now to transform themselves and just simply do their jobs better, make their areas of specialization even better for their customers. You mentioned our obsession over our customers. The way we actually operate internally to the company is we have an idea of a problem or a pain point we want to solve for customers. And then from that solution, we work backwards to today to figure out all the things that we need to invent along the way to get to that solution. And so it's not just sort of esoteric, if you'll pardon me saying this, academic sorts of innovation. It is actually very focused on a true customer need. And it's very, it's empowering, and I really encourage everybody to try it. I mean, it's not a secret sauce for Amazon. It just is a matter of actually doing it, actually focusing on a customer need or problem, and then going out and figuring out how to fix it, as opposed to just sort of thinking about really cool things that you might want to do with technology. That be much more specific, and it does pay off.
Yeah. I want to quote someone that over 20 years ago said, start with the experience and then decide on the technology. Steve Jobs. And that hasn't changed. That has not changed. And I think what you're talking about is exactly that. So as we look at students, a lot of young people are watching us right now, and they're thinking, okay, if data was important before, how can I embrace this world where data will be even more important? And what advice do you give students like that? I mean, you told me the other day that one of your pet projects is science, is the study of science, and how there are a lot of young people today that haven't been exposed to the sciences like some of us have. When I was 20, I was a nerd. My bachelor's was in mathematics. My master's work was in computer science. So, there aren't that many nerds anymore out there. Few people want to live a life of a nerd,
Yeah.
So how do you deal with this?
Well, Paris, to be clear from the outset, you still are a nerd. But that said, that's a compliment coming from me, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
What I would encourage younger people to recognize is that most of the important things that you can learn after university are things that can be learned both as a career over a long period, but also it's very important to learn things quickly and it's not hard. I guess the point is, don't be afraid of learning something new. Early in my career, I was given opportunities to do things largely because I just was unafraid to learn something that no one else felt like taking the time to learn. And so many things can be learned quickly and give you a level of specialization that makes you valuable within a university or a government or within a commercial enterprise. If you're willing to do it and not be afraid of it. So sort of lifelong learning, I guess, is one message. The other is science. The understanding of what science is and what is not is sorely lacking in the policymaking world around our world today. People don't understand what it is and what it is not. And so, one of the things that the virus is forcing on us is a better understanding of how scientists work and what the limits of science are as well. And so it shouldn't be undermined, it shouldn't be overstated, it should be just simply recognized that science is the study of the natural world. And lastly, Paris, I think what this pandemic has shown us is, there's an admirable focus on things like Earth Day. We had the 50th anniversary a couple of weeks ago. And taking care of the environment and the Earth is super important. But ultimately, Earth is going to be fine for the next 5 or 6 billion years. It's humanity that needs to be protected, and we need to be thinking about how we can empower science using technology to protect humanity.
Yeah, well put, Paul. Okay, any last parting advice for our students and young people?
Well, just a word of encouragement. We'll get through this. We really will. It's been said before, but it's worth repeating. We're all in this together. And I'd like to think that coming out of this, we will view ourselves as fellow humans much better than we have in the past. And maybe some of our tribal instincts will fade away a bit. And I don't want to be overly optimistic, but at the same time, I think the younger generation coming up recognizes this better than us old guys, Paris.
I don't know about you, Paul, but my students like to describe me as a baby boomer. No, as a millennial trapped in the body of a baby boomer, okay? All right, so with that, thanks for your time, Paul. I hope that next time we meet, it's in, well, maybe Bangkok, having a martini or something.
Why not? I'm there.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, moving right along. Yeah, that was great. We've really had a good time today with an amazing list of jury members, amazing startups, and also with Eric and now Paul. What more could you ask for? Well, let me tell you what more you could ask for. Maria is going to introduce or announce the winners of this competition. And she's going to start with third place, second place, and then the grand winner of connectivity and data in the virtual South Summit. Maria, are you there?
Yeah, here I am, Paris. First, I have to say how great you were, Paul, and yourself. And here is the best moment is just to announce the winners. And the third one, it has been great, has been Plaisance from
Sense.
Israel.
Big hand for PlaySense. Third place winner. Big hand. Congratulations. Thank you.
Big applause.
Big applause.
Thank you.
And Paris, the second one is Alias Robotic from Spain.
Okay, Agnes Robotic from Spain. Congratulations.
Where is it?
Where are you?
Congratulations. Great, congratulations.
Okay, and now, do we have
And
any?
here is the...
Wait, we need the drums. Wait, we got drums.
Yeah.
Okay, tambores.
Yeah? Yeah, tambores. For the next time, really, we will have them.
Okay.
And the winner, the super winner from Connectivity and Data is Ericsson, the Netherlands.
All right, Ersigen from the Netherlands.
A big applause to them. Just a big applause. Can you introduce him?
Yes, Ersigen from the Netherlands. Do you want to say a couple of words, Betsy? The mic, Betsy.
There we go. Hey, thank you so much for this honor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're really working hard here in the Netherlands, and we really believe we've got we're on a mission to change the way we connect and bring connectivity to the next level, bringing higher bandwidth.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Maria, any closing remarks before we continue with the agenda?
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to tell her that she's going to be one of our 100 finalists for South Summit in October. So congratulations, because you can really connect and identify opportunities with lots of people, investors and corporations. And well, it's been wow room and wow absolutely virtual South Summit and wow Paris and Paul, Arenik and all the jury and the finalists. Many thanks to everybody, to all of you, and really in very few days, yes, 6 days, on the Tuesday, May the 12th, we will see you all. And I'm sure we will have a great time in mobility and logistics. So I wait for you. And as we were talking at the beginning, Paris, we will have a great tool to connect everyone. Yes, to make business. Here we are all together, the investors, the corps, the startups, and all of us, yes, to identify opportunities of business. So thank you very much, AI2 University, and see you very soon.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, and now Nacho Mateo, who is the architect around most of this, is going to give us a few words.
Thank you, Paris. Thank you. All the initiatives that we organize from my university and, of course, from South Summit have a common goal, which is helping the startups to connect with the main actors of the ecosystem. But at the same time, I strongly believe that we need to focus our initiatives not only to help the current entrepreneurs, but also to help the future entrepreneurs. And I'm sure that today we have many students from IE that are watching this event now. So my recommendation for all of you guys will be to attend as much number of innovation conferences as possible, because attending these innovation conferences, you will learn how to pitch in front of investors. And there's no better way to learn that than watching online pitches of real entrepreneurs that are pitching in front of real investors. So, and at the same time, if you attend these innovation conferences, you will also learn how to network, which is super important. You will build your own network of contacts in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, which in my own experience is one of the most important things for any entrepreneur. So in general, I hope you guys enjoyed the second challenge. And as I always say, you have the AI Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center for anything you may need. And actually that includes the opportunity of having a coffee with our amazing MC, Professor Paris de la Trath, who is one of the most beloved professors, not only within our students, but also in the whole entrepreneurial community. So I want to publicly thank you, Paris, for your constant support to all our entrepreneurship initiatives.
Thank you, Nacho. Thank you. Okay, so we are now bringing this to a close. I want to thank all the startups that competed here today and connect us from all over the world. I want to thank all our jury members. Amazing list of jury members from all over the world as well. As you heard several times, next week it's going to be amazing. It's mobility and logistics. We're going to have Carlo Ratti from MIT Sensible City Lab Director. He's going to talk about the city of tomorrow. And we're going to have Nabil Malouli, who is the Global E-commerce Vice President at DHL Supply Chain. And he's going to talk about the future of logistics. We're expecting lots of jury members, again, from Google, IBM, Ferrovial, SoftBank, Excel, Creandum, Northzone, DN Capital, and much more. So stay safe and make sure that you join us next Tuesday. No, not next Tuesday. Next May 12th for another amazing virtual South Summit. Take care. Thank you. We